Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Premodern, and at the request of Patreon subscriber Brad, this is Mono Black MoneyBall. I don't know why it's called MoneyBall, but it is. That is Premodern terminology. Someone can explain it in the comments, I'm sure. This is the classic Dark Ritual Creature Disruption deck. It is not Pox, it is not the Rack, it is creatures getting in there, getting that damage done. There was just a long conversation about this deck on the Unsleeved podcast, part of the Resleevables network. Shout out Resleevables, mutual sponsor of this show. On their pod, Patrick's Sullivan and Chapin talked a long time about tuning specifically this deck, and I listened to that like 2 days ago, just by pure coincidence. And it's cool that I get to play it right away. Brad specifically called out Hypnotic Spectre as the appeal to this deck. Turn 1 Dark Ritual Hippie, hell yeah. We all have, anyone who's been playing Magic a while has dreams of this and nightmares of this. One thing that was discussed on that Unsleeved podcast is how bad Hypnotic Spectre actually is by Premodern standards. And I kind of just wish they were all Nantuko shades. But I'm going to stay true to the source material. I did get a couple Nantuko shades in here. And I'm really glad to see that Brad had a Drain Life in here. Because one of the fallbacks of this deck is that at some point Dark Ritual just doesn't matter anymore. And that point is like turn 2. You could Dark Ritual some dope stuff on turn 1 or 2, but then if you draw it on turn 3, it's like, what do I even do with this? And Nantuko Shade and Drain Life give you great outlets for that. Masticore also a little bit of that as well. Discarding a 2 Masticore is one of its better ways to use it. Phyrexian Arena, also excited to see this in Brad's build. This is what we want Hypnotic Spectre to be. If you imagine Dark Ritualing out a permanent that's going to generate steady card advantage for the rest of the game, it's not actually Hypnotic Spectre, it's Phyrexian Arena. But it's awesome that we get to play both. And outside of that, it's just a bunch of discard, a bunch of graveyard hate, a bunch of removal, and we'll try to get it done. This is Mono Black MoneyBall, let's play it. I'm on the draw in round 1 versus none other than Doomwake, streamer. I am betrayed by the Wastelands. There are 4 non-black sources of mana in the deck, and here I am with the Dark Ritual start, but you can't keep this. Okay, we've got a Dark Ritual this time. I will keep this, and I think Masticore is the least exciting card in my hand. A Savannah Lions. That's not very good against Ravenous Rats. The bad news here, though, is that this Dark Ritual doesn't actually get everywhere it needs to go. So I'm going to pass and hope to draw a land and double spell next turn. I am just going to snuff this thing. It's going to deal more than 4 damage to me. Another one. Oh no. All right, big rips. We got there. Cool. Okay, I'm going to Dark Ritual out my boy Ravenous Rats. An insane 2-for-1. Get a card from your hand and trade with the Savannah Lions. Get me paid. Discarded Swords to Plowshares. Cool. I'm going to lead on Withered Wretch, because I actually think Nantuko Shade's more important in this matchup, and if my opponent has a removal spell, I want the Shade to survive. Yep, Swords to Plowshares. Discarding the 1 tells me they had another one. Alright, and Savannah Lions completely locked. Wasteland locks this Mistress Factory as well. I think I'm actually just going to zap that. I'm not even going to wait for them to activate it. And then Nantuko Shade, get in the brawl. Green cards, Wild Mongrel, and Wasteland. Okay. Contagion. That is worse than my other options. I think I'm going to sit on my interaction. Smother is luckily not non-black creature, because Mongrel's color can change. Call of the Herd. Yep, that's pretty big. Do I want to spend mana here? I could just pick off this elephant. I'm going to have to pick off another elephant in the near future, but Nantuko Shade is holding the fort here. All right, we're even bigger. It's kind of the first person to draw a functional removal spell is going to be winning this game. Oh, baby, the Wretch from the top rope. Eat that Call of the Herd, get it out. This does open up combat for them for a turn, but it saves me a 3/3 I have to contend with. This could be 4 damage. I am not going to battle this. Basking Rootwalla, that's the best thing that they could have here, because it's just free to discard. Anything else discarding pushing damage would be, not quite that easy. Duress is better as contagion fuel than it is as duress. I don't believe my opponent has a spell in their hand that I need to zap. Contagion is distribute two -1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures. So I could delete a Mongrel or Patrol Hound permanently, or I could get 2 1/1s out of here. Okay, committing the Call of the Herd, just deciding the 3/3 is worth it. Get rid of that. Another swamp. My shade continues to grow. Stay shady. I think I'm going to exile my opponent's graveyard just in case that matters. Threshold is a mechanic in this format. Okay, now I can cast Contagion. I'm much more excited about Contagion if I don't have to lose 2 cards to it. Factory. And I am just going to fetch. There's no reason to hold a fetch land. There's no Fatal Push, nothing like that. I could kill the Mongrel and Savannah Lions, or I could save it for Factory. I think I want to save it for Factory. Diabolic Edict. Okay, now Contagion's kind of worth playing, because if I could take out the 2 little ones, Edict will get one of the bigger ones. End-step Rootwalla. If I Contagion now, no, that's really bad, because, yeah, that would tap me out of Nantuko Shade. Okay, we've got a little Alpha Strike coming. Okay, what are we cooking with here? Everybody. I can pitch cast the Contagion, which is fine. We've got 3, and I can buff Nantuko Shade to 5/4 while casting all the spells in my hand. Rats are going to block Savannah Lions, that's easy. And then I could put Withered Wretch in front of one of the Rootwallas, and if they buff that one, it dies to the Contagion. If they don't buff that one, yeah, they can only buff one Rootwalla. Okay, so it's block Savannah Lions, it's block a Rootwalla, and it's block Elephant. And then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage coming through that my opponent knows about. But I have to pay 1 for Contagion. Okay, I'm ready for blocks. Lions, Elephant, Rootwalla. These are my blocks. Buffing that Rootwalla. That means if I Contagion the 2 Rootwallas, they're gone. Okay. Pitch Duress to that. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7 damage still coming through. -1 counters are distributed. I'll finish buffing my elephant here, or my anti-elephant combat technology. And there's no reason to Edict now, because then their Savannah Lions would get sacked. I have to wait for damage to come through. I'm at 5. I probably should have Edicted in the end step. I was busy thinking about Withered Wretch. A Dark Ritual is a bigger Nantuko Shade. Surprise big Nantuko Shade. Alright. Edict is probably going to eat Patrol Hound. That just seems like the worst card that they have. Okay, no attack. I'm going to Edict in the end step. They might sack the Hound. They might animate a Factory and sack that. I really hope they don't have a Rootwalla to just get my Edict for free. Yeah, I don't mind a Factory dying here. That's fine. Cool. Alright. Cabal Therapy. Am I a sniper? What cards would be in their hand? It's not Swords to Plowshares. I think they would have... Oh no. I'm going to name Roar of the Worm. Because the way these discard effects work is they're on the stack. Yeah, okay. I think my opponent's hand is Roar of the Worm or just lands. Roar of the Worm. Arrogant Worm. Okay. Arrogant Worm and Disenchant. Well, I don't care about Disenchant. Arrogant Worm is terrifying, though. That's a freaking 5/5 that's coming my way. I would not have wanted to name that anyway. Even though they get it however they want it here. Okay, am I dead? It's close. I think I'm at 1. And my Withered Wretch is dead. I think that's how this works. Alright, I'm going to block Arrogant Worm and Wild Mongrel. And I don't actually have to Dark Ritual here. I can just beat the worm. I love beating your worm. We're good friends like that. I discarded Windswept Teeth to save Wild Mongrel. That's fine. Yeah, I'm at 1, and I'm dead next turn. The Drain Life is pretty good here. Dark Ritual's not it. Wait. No, I'm like, oh my god, do I have lethal? No, I've dealt 0 damage to my opponent this game. Okay. I can get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's not going to be enough. Okay. Yeah, I never had an engine going that game. And the early game, I was in control and then quickly lost it. Perish, banger. I like that. Engineered Plague can wipe out Root Wallas, I guess. Phyrexian Degradator seems terrible. Dystopia, here we go. Look at this shit. Cumulative upkeep, pay 1 life. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a green or white permanent of their choice. Gross. Devastating. That's what we're here for. Hypnotic Spectre, not exactly thriving versus a deck like this. I think Duress is probably actively bad. But Hippie, I mean, if I can get an Arrogant Worm out of their hand when they don't have 3 mana, that's not bad. Spinning Darkness is removal that gains life. Drain Life is removal that gains life. Gloom, white spells cost 3 more to cast. Are they going to have COP black in their sideboard? I doubt it. They do have white spells in their deck, though. I don't think I'm in the Gloom market. I think if my opponent has Circle of Protection black, I'm just all in on Masticore and Curse Scroll to win the game. Can I get Spinning Darkness in the deck? Where would that go? In Ravenous Rats, still not great versus the card Basking Rootwalla, but is pretty great versus the card Savannah Lions. I do like the Graveyard Hate. Discard in general versus this deck, I'm not thrilled. Okay. 1 extra removal spell, let's do it. Okay, no engine here. I do answer their first 2 threats and the factory, but then I'm just top decking. I'm going to mulligan and try to get a little more going. All right, I guess I keep this. And it's probably... And Nantuko Shade was the best card. Snuff Out does not kill Wild Mongrel, but Wild Mongrel is going to be my name with Cabal Therapy. Yeah, this is tough. I think I'm going to bottom Withered Wretch because it's the hardest card to cast in my hand, and it's the farthest away from being useful. And I don't have to Cabal Therapy on turn 1 if Wild Mongrel is going to be the card I name. This gives them an extra turn to draw a Mongrel. Tireless Tribe, okay. All right, I drew a Swamp. I like that. Cabal Therapy, Wild Mongrel. We got one. Ooh, Glory is in there. All right, yeah, Glory is choose a color, creatures you control gain protection from that color until end of turn. Activate only if this is in your graveyard. That is a messed up Magic card. I'm actually going to snuff this out because next turn it can enable Arrogant Worm. Yeah, discarding Glory, you might as well. Ooh, Cabal Therapy, all right. Oh, I can bonk them multiple times with the Cabal Therapy here. Hey, Ravenous Rats. They might have to plow this, which is awesome because I have Cabal Therapy in my graveyard. Discarded the plow, all right. I'm going to Therapy Arrogant Worm. And this also lets me see what their last unknown card is. It's another plow. All right. Arrogant Worm, Madness triggers, and then fizzles. And Swords to Plowshares, last card that I care about. Swords to Plowshares. Their card in hand is Mishra's Factory, and I have a Wasteland face up. Let's party. Call of the Herd. Not bad. Pretty good follow-up. Oh, that's nice, though. All right. Exile my top 3 black cards, deal 3 to that, I gain 3, waste that, jam the Nantuko Shade, races on! And they're pretty far away from this Call of the Herd in the graveyard. And I have it covered anyway. I'm just sinking all the way in on this shit. Big Nantuko. Patrol Hound, don't care. Oh, Hippie, let's go. Oh, my opponent can't block here, and then I'll play Hippie. This does add a flyer to the board. I won't be blocking. Swords of Plowshares, pretty good. Edict. I mean, I'll just kill the thing you have. That's what we got here. Rootwalla, playing it out, rather than letting me hip it. I don't think there's any reason for me to hold a land, so I won't. Compost. Whenever a black card's put in an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you may draw a card. That's nasty. Let's hope my black cards don't go to the graveyard. Let's hope they go into the battlefield and then stay there. That one's pretty bad. Yeah, Flying Creature. Getting it done here, though. Rootwalla, buff. Cabal Pit. That is not a black card. And I don't have Threshold, but I can get it if I'm willing to let my opponent draw a card, which actually wouldn't even be that crazy because I'm hitting them with Hypnotic Spectre. Rootwalla Pump. Attack. They have a card to discard. What is it? Tireless Tribe. Interesting they'd rather discard that than have it in play at the cost of 1 life. It seems the same to me. Or could have just tapped in a way that didn't cost 1 life there. Yeah, okay, that was a weird turn. Alright, Hypnotic Spectre, flying damage. Pretty good. Yeah, the Graveyard Hate, even more significant now that I know Glory is one of the things they're doing. Compost is messed up. Okay, I mean, I think these are still the cards I'd want to play. I could see conversations about Powder Keg or Drain Life, but I also have permanents in my deck. Okay, I'm going to Therapy Wild Mongrel. That is just a card I'm worried about. Therapy and Compost is tempting as well. They had both. Okay, well, this game might be challenging if I have to work through a Compost. Yeah, the problem is I know they play 4 Wild Mongrels. I don't know how many Composts there are. Okay, Prismatic Strands and Arrogant Worm. I could get the Arrogant Worm out of their hand right now, and I think I have to do that. Okay, Ravenous Rats. You discard a card. And then I'll flashback Therapy. My opponent gets to draw, but then I take the Arrogant Worm. I hope they draw another Arrogant Worm. That would be so sick. Arrogant Worm. It didn't have another one. They have another Tribe and another Strands. I think I can overcome those things. Another Tribe. Is this an investment turn in Arena? Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. This is an investment turn in destroying all your permanents. Beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a green or white permanent of their choice. Compost versus Tireless Tribe. Who would win? Or Compost versus Dystopia. Dual decks. Premodern dual decks. All right, 1 Tribe gone. Yeah, with Dystopia and Arena and Cabal Pit all visible here, that Drain Life. Maybe when I bring in Dystopia, I'm supposed to bring in Drain Life as well. Or is this a combo? Waste Brushland. Get you in the squeeze. Okay, cool. And jam Phyrexian Arena. Engine operational. Yeah, Disenchant. That's fair. Oh, that also draws a card. Fucked up. Alright, fine. At least I'm not paying life, and I do have a bunch of those in my deck. Snuff out, Withered Wretch. Okay. Withered Wretch, get in there. And I think I'm just going to pass with mana up. Ooh, Worm. Alright, yep. That's why we don't jam off the Snuff out on the first thing you see. Okay, I mean... Oh man, this Compost is going to draw another card. This is so brutal. Alright, it doesn't matter which one I snuff. Well, yes it does, because this one doesn't attack through Withered Wretch. I'm definitely getting composted here. Thoroughly and brutally. Wretch, get rid of a Prismatic Strands. That's a card with flashback. Swamp. Nantuko Shade. Gaming. Diabolic Edict. Target you. Fetching in response. Come on with the Arrogant Worms! Alright, well, this Compost has been worth like 4 or 5 cards this game, and it turns out every single one of those cards was Arrogant Worm. Except the one that was Disenchant. Okay. Passing the turn. Yeah, the fucked up thing is double blocking the Arrogant Worm even lets them draw 2 cards. And I still take a damage. Yeah, I think I just have to take 4 here, and then I'm in major issues from my own arena. A factory. Curse Scroll, no! I'm so dead. I have basically no chance here. Hypnotic Spectre is not it. Alright, GG. Yeah, Compost absolutely slaughtered me there. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in round 2 with a very exciting hand. I'm going to keep a Forest. My plan is to Dark Ritual. Oh, okay, well, now I can Duress first. Dark Ritual. I was going to Ravenous Rats, see what they discard to get information about their hand and their deck, and then Cabal Therapy twice. But now I think I'm just going to duress and then rats. And then I have therapy available next turn. Let's see a survival of the fittest in that hand that I can take. Oh God, trips. Oh well, no complaints here. Argothian Enchantress. Pew, 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 pew. Screenshot for posterity. We got a nice in the chat. That was pretty nice. Okay, opponent's hand is a bunch of lands. All right. That's... Cabal Therapy is a messed up card. Now they play the 4th Argothian Enchantress. That's my life. Okay, fetching, so something is happening. Exploration. Okay, you get to play one of these lands before I take the last one. Okay. I do need to get this game closed, which Nantuko Shade is very good at. I still think it's worth knocking this last land out of their hand while discard still does anything. But from here on out, it's Nantuko Shade, coast to coast. Oh no. Yeah, that was one of the best draws available. My Shade's in. Attack. Real pressure on the board. I hope I don't get Elephant Grassed. That would be so fucked. Okay, Dark Ritual. Let's go. I'm not going to Ritual the pump this turn. I'll save that for down the road if my opponent thinks they have time to F around, and then they'll just die. If I draw a land, or if they tap Brushland for mana, I have lethal. Okay, well, that's interesting, because now I can smother their Enchantress's presence. Yeah, that was, I mean, probably necessary to draw a card, but I like it. Smother the presence. Attack with my 2 creatures. I want to Ravenous Rats them this turn, which means I have to attack first. I could do the Dark Ritual burst damage. No, I can't. That's not how anything works. Nope, not how that works. Okay, we traded with Exploration. Rats that last card out of your hand. And I have a lethal attack next turn. Opponent's in top deck mode, but every enchantment in their deck is a blocker now. Words of Wilding. Okay, next time you draw a card, you make a bear instead. All right, this is a perfect spot for this Dark Ritual because my opponent doesn't know they're dead. And Nantuko Shade rips. Hellbent opponent, Dark Ritual for the giant growth. What a game! Okay, Cabal Therapy. That card is extreme when it works. Okay, Gloom. My opponent has a lot of enchantments and some of them have activated abilities. That's coming in. Powder Keg specifically does not destroy enchantments. Dystopia. They are a green-white deck. Phyrexian Negator. They're not a deck with damage. Engineered Plague can kill enchantresses. All right, we have to get kind of unconventional here. Contagion, Smother. They don't have things that die in traditional ways. At least not until Opalescence is online. Duress is great. Cabal Therapy is great. Do I need Masticore here? I'm bringing in Negators. That's my Masticore. The Wretch. Do they do a lot of graveyard stuff? I don't think so. There's a lot of cards to bring in. I might shave some Ravenous Rats. I know it. Beating up their hand, every little piece could matter. Oh, Perish also kills Enchantress. Am I on the literally anything that kills an Enchantress strat? I think I might have to be. And I might shave a Dark Ritual here because this game's likely to go long. I am on the draw, of course, for game 2. I like my hand quite a bit. We got that turn 1 hippie we dream about. And Engineered Plague can clear Enchantresses. Hope this works. Bonus on a Multi 6. Dangerous in these times. Exploration. And no follow-up land. All right, that's a setup exploration for the future. Part of me thinks I should save the Dark Ritual for Engineered Plague to make sure their Enchantress never draws a card. But also, they just missed a land drop. So, like, can they even cast Enchantress here? And I only need 1 turn to breathe on it. Okay, they might have just been hiding Serra Sanctum from possible Wasteland. Okay, yeah, they definitely had a land, and that was a tactical decision not to deploy it. Gratar's Desire. Enchanted creature can attack. Okay. Sick. Sylvan Library. Okay. Pretty good open. Cabal Therapy. I mean, I have the Hypnotic Spectre to send it right back. I can get whatever that last card in their hand is, but I think this will be higher value at some future point. I would like some damage on the board. Kept 1 extra card down to 10 life. It's not hard for them to lock me out entirely. So paying some extra life, probably worth it. Wild Growth into Spiritual Focus. Whenever a spell or ability opponent controls causes you to discard a card, you gain 2 life and you may draw a card. I've never seen this card in my life and it seems awesome. Worship, yeah. Okay, I mean, I'm doing some damage here. Argothian Enchantress is a human druid. I'm glad I looked it up because it says Enchantress on the printed card. I'm going to Engineered Plague on druids. I'm doing this proactively because I have mana to spend, and what my opponent's trying to do is find an Enchantress and then draw a bunch of cards all at once, and I would prefer if that just didn't happen. And I will not be able to beat Opalescence here, that's for sure. It's the other Enchantress. That one's not a creature, though. It doesn't turn on Worship. Worship is if you control a creature, damage that would reduce you to less than 1 goes to 1 instead. And the messed up thing is because of the Spiritual Focus, I don't even want to use this Cabal Therapy, even though it's there. I just gotta hope this damage holds. But with an Enchantress in play, the dam can break very easily here. I'm also playing the color that Elephant Grass hard targets, and they have so much mana that that's just going to be in play forever. I have to win with Drain Life, if they have that. Wild Growth draws a card, but it draws a card that Sylvan Library just saw. It's not a new card. Wasteland, okay. I do like that. I'm going to attack with Wretch. I'm going to waste Sarah's Sanctum. They might just have another one in hand. Just Enchantress not playing any cards with as much mana as they had is weird. And that makes me think they might have something like a redundant copy of a legendary land in their hand. But I'm still going after that thing. Yep, there it is. The second presence, danger, danger. A third presence, oh no. The dam has broken. Seal of Cleansing. This can free the Argothian Enchantresses. Yeah, this is just one of those spots where opponent was on low resources. I cut off half of their engines and they just happen to have 3 copies of the other one. All right, you got me. I cannot win through all of that. All right, game 3. Is there anything that I can get back in here? Maybe Withered Wretch is just worse than Ravenous Rats. In attacking for 2 is obviously twice as good as attacking for 1. But those early game situations where they're trying to dance around my counterplay and I'm trying to keep them from getting an engine going, just being down 1 or 2 extra cards matters so much. Do I need Masticore just in case of Elephant Grass? I hope not. I'm not bringing it in. Let's go. Okay. I will keep this hand. It just curves out nicely. Cabal Therapy, naming Argothian Enchantress. That's just the best card. We did get one. They have Miri's Guile and Exploration as well. Both of those will be in play next turn. And now it's Nantuko Shade's job to tee off on their head. Forest, Exploration, Windswept Teeth, Miri's Guile's coming. Gloom. Interesting. And Nantuko Shade, get in there. Sarah's Sanctum. 1 unknown card in the hand. I hope it's not a banger. It was Plains. Okay, my opponent's hand right now is Forest Brushland. And that's the best they could do off of a Miri's Guile. I think I want to spend this turn investing Phyrexian Arena, so the rest of my game is better. And then I'll worry about my opponent's game starting next turn. Because the first Miri's Guile trigger is a huge deal. That's just like a ponder's worth of card selection. But the second one, when you haven't shuffled in between, is just like, yeah, here's the same 2 cards you didn't want last turn again, and another one. It's the same as just drawing a card. Brushland, Forest. What do we got? Argothian Enchantress. All right. Deck. We got a bunch of draws to try to answer this shit. Nantuko Shade, Cabal Therapy. Those are not them. I'm going to waste Sarah's Sanctum. Play another Wasteland. Attack, and I'm going to Gloom here. Now it's my job to slow you down because you did get your engine going. Gloom is all white spells cost 3 more, and activated abilities of white enchantments cost 3 more. That's Seal of Cleansing, that's Sterling Grove, Parallax Wave. There's a number of them in there that cost more to activate, and then even just things like Kartar's Desire or whatever costs 3 more to play. Yeah, that's a 5 mana Sterling Grove that's going to cost another 4 mana to activate. Cool. Gloom immediately paying money. And if I can clear this Enchantress, I will still feel really good about life. Engineered Plague, we're in business. Let's go. Okay, fetch. Do I want to attack for 1 extra or wasteland them? That's actually interesting. I think I want to wasteland. They're trying to activate Sterling Grove, but no. Gloom has 2 lines of text there. Untap that land and put it in your graveyard. There we go. Plague on Druid. I don't know if there are more humans or more druids between the decks, but I'm pretty sure I'm not playing any druids. And I don't feel like looking it up. All right, Miri's Guile does look at some new ones. Sterling Grove can vamp tutor for 4 mana. Like, they can't tutor for Enchantress's Presence and get that set up here. That's just way too much mana. And if they tutor for something and don't play it immediately, I can Cabal Therapy it. This Phyrexian Arena is so nice. Let's go into town over here. Okay, I will fetch and attack. I'm going to push 2 extra damage and then play another Shade. I think the second Shade is worth more than the Hippie. Because I'm trying to get them dead. I'm not trying to control their engines. They have an engine. Or if they want to end step Sterling Grove and then untap, play Enchantress's Presence, get something going here, that works. I can't stop that. They might just turtle up and get something like Elephant Grass and buy themselves 5 turns of whatever. But that's 5 turns of me using Arena. Yeah, Elephant Grass, okay. That is a powerful hate card. This is a 1-mana enchantment with cumulative upkeep 1. Black creatures can't attack at all, and non-black creatures cost 2 extra to attack. Yep, there's the grass. Arena, finding Duress is nice. What are you hiding over there? Solitary Confinement. Let's get rid of that. Do I want a backup Engineered Plague? I mean, I think I do. I don't think there's any other creatures in their deck. I could look it up, but I'm busy gaming. Paying for Elephant Grass. Hitting a land. That's another turn of being in the grass. Duress Curse Scroll. Okay. Now I can deal some damage. The game suddenly became very complicated for my opponent. I'm going to play out Hypnotic Spectre, and then I'm going to Cabal Therapy, naming You Are Already Dead. Oh, that's not in the format. I can't name that, damn it. All right, Abandon Hope. I'll go with the classic. Okay, Abandon Hope's been named. And I'm going to have to start scrolling in the upkeep to guarantee conversion. I just saw a card called Game Over got previewed for the Ninja Turtles set. Game Over is a pretty good name for Cabal Therapies and Demonic Consultations in the future. I'm extremely partial to Take Out the Trash. That's the one that I name in real life when I'm winning a game of CEDH. A Brush Land. And upkeep, scroll you, and I name Duress. Opponent's at 7. Swamp Dark Ritual. Okay. Pass the turn. Yeah, Curse Scroll's dope because grindy games, it can take over, and it's just a non-black threat in the face of things like Circle of Protection or Elephant Grass. Good tech. And because of Gloom, even if my opponent has Seal of Cleansing, they can't play it, much less activate it. Guitar's Desire. Okay. Hypnotic Spectre can't attack again. It already couldn't, but now it super can't. All right, in the upkeep, I'm going to Dark Ritual to activate Curse Scroll. I just want the guaranteed hit here. All right, opponent's at 5. Drain Life. Okay. Do I win? I can Drain Life for 4 right now. I think I'd like my opponent to be at 1. Okay, go. They're dead in my next upkeep. Got to figure it out right now. They have to answer Curse Scroll while keeping Elephant Grass in play. Off of 1 card. Okay, the grass is gone. It's go time. Whatever's going to happen has to happen now. Replenish. Hell yeah. Okay. That does actually do everything they needed to do here. Okay. Well, game continue then. But they don't get to draw cards anymore, and they will lose the game eventually. Should I put Negator into play? Yeah, I mean, I have this Curse Scroll. I should be getting cards out of my hand. All right, Engineered Plague. I'll just super cover the Druids. Okay, so Solitary Confinement reads, skip your draw step, and at the beginning of your upkeep, discard a card or sacrifice this. So, oh, I just did that. Oh, I couldn't cast Duress because there were no legal targets. Yeah, I couldn't actually get the Curse Scroll to a spot where it could work there. Yeah, okay. a tight one. So they get one more draw here. The replenish was exciting. Paying for elephant grass. Presence. All right, we did it. Just got a scroll in my upkeep, and that's that. What a sick match. GG's. Hit you with the scroll one more time. That was so satisfying. I've been playing some brews and Premodern lately on the channel, and I always get smushed by Enchantress. It's nice to give it back a little.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round number 3. I'm going to keep my hand, and I am not in the blind therapy universe in Premodern. I don't have the confidence to send it turn 1 on the blind. Duress. All right, well, now I don't get to send it at all. Your Duress takes my therapy. I'll fetch to get a swamp out of the way. All right, the Hypnotic Spectre machine is going to start rolling pretty soon. Oh, no! No! They only know one card in my hand, and I happen to draw a second copy. This is pain. Okay. The Cabal Therapy gives, and the Cabal Therapy taketh away. Yeah, this is just like one of those dumb things that can happen with a dumb card. All right, well, another dumb thing that can happen with a dumb card is I blow up your shit and attack you. Okay, attack. The Hypnotic Spectre train betrayed by its own type, the discarders. Chainer's Edict. All right, now I have nothing going on. Now I have something going on. The game continues. Diabolic Edict and pass the turn. Ball of Blossoms. All right. Yeah, this is looking like some kind of hermit, not hermit druid, the other druid, the deranged idiot. All right, well, I don't think I care about Wall of Blossoms more than I care about dealing 2 damage. If I get like Natural Order next turn, I deserve it. Withered Wretch. I guess I value that. Is exactly everything I said going to happen. Oh, Blastoderm. All right. That's not as bad as Natural Order. And Diabolic Edict would not have dealt with it. Well, yes, it would. Now it would. Okay, passing the turn. Not really winning a race versus Blastoderm with Curse Scroll. Well, Blastoderm dies after dealing 15, so you're always kind of winning a race versus Blastoderm. You're simultaneously always and never winning a race versus this guy. 2 of them's tough. The opponent knows my hand is Smother now. Okay. Rats off to you. That helps against the Blastoderm. Discarded Yavimaya Elder. Yeah, this seems like some kind of survival, recurring nightmare, mid-range, whatever. I'm ready to throw the rats under the bus. I'm not quite ready to lose Withered Wretch. Oh, what am I saving for? It's hard to say. Ravenous Baloth. All right. I couldn't beat the first 2 giant beasts. Now there's another one. Yeah, good old Rock. Nothing beats Rock. Okay, you got me. Yeah, the 2 Hypnotic Specters, the flying damage, the discarding some of these beasts at random, that sort of thing obviously would have helped, but it was not meant to be. Dystopia and Perish, excellent here. Contagion looks a little too low impact. Duress could be important. It could take my opponent's discard spells. It just seems so mid when creatures are what they're mostly doing, but if I do think it's a recurring nightmare and survival deck, I should probably have that hand attack in there. Masticore blocks a Blastoderm as long as it needs to. I like that. I think I'm going to cut a Smother. The creatures that I care about seemed a lot bigger, and I don't want to be smothering Walls of Blossoms. Yeah, here's the Dark Ritual problem in action again. I am going to keep the hand, but the second Dark Ritual is just not doing much. All right, I'm going to Ritual and then Rats. Drop the Dust Bowl. Do I think this is a survival deck? If this is like trusty old Rock, I could name Wall of Blossoms here. I could Therapy naming Therapy. I think I want to name Wall of Blossoms. That card makes my removal worse. Oh, double Yavimaya Elder. Alright, well. Turns out Cabal Therapy is still alive. Alright, Yavimaya Elder. There's a lot of Yavimaya cards in this format. Alright, I'll take 2 of those. And the hand is Smother and Lands. Which, unfortunately, lines up well against what's remaining in my hand. Oh. Alright, well, hopefully the Withered Wretch distracts my opponent long enough with the Smother that Hippie can take over. Swamp? Yeah, okay. Alright. Didn't even have to use the Dark Ritual. Can Hypnotic Spectre take over a game, or does my opponent have literally anything? Time will tell. Duress? Alright, you got it. You got my Dark Ritual. Second Forest. Good chance this Hippie's going to connect. Green, not very good at answering a flying creature in this format. Whatever your last card is, delete it. Okay, Hypnotic Spectre got a card out of someone's hand. It has happened in the modern century. My opponent's at 4 mana, though, where now most of their good cards can be cast. Alright, Wall of Blossoms. That could strand a card if it doesn't cost exactly 2. We're going to get a chance here. I'm going to start eating the creatures out of the graveyard. Those are probably the most relevant ones, if any of them are relevant. Spectre. Got another one. Duress. Right, I don't really care about that. That wasn't a card anyway. Wall of Blossoms. Here's this play pattern again. Treetop Village. Okay, opponent's gaming. They're back in session. Just going to exile all the cool stuff from their graveyard. Yeah! Double duty. Now we're racing the Treetop Village. Opponent discards nothing, because when they're out of cards in their hand, you just have a Windrake. Oh no. That's all my stuff. Smother. I mean, that's actually nice, because that covers the Treetop Village after they blow up everything else. Like, they do have to go up to 3 on the deed to get my hippies, and that's going to take all their walls with them. And then we just go into garbage time together. And both of these decks are basically Jund. Just kind of black-based, here are my cards, do I win? Top deck war kind of shit. Here comes the deed in combat. I'll exile the cards from the graveyard. Because I can. We're here. Might as well. Okay, then everything dies. Play out my swamp and pass. Fire it up. Come on. No, not that. Not that. Oh, shit. Well, they are at 10. Any chance they'll die to their own Graveborn Muse? I can't kill that. With Ravenous Baloth in the deck, it doesn't seem great. Treetop Village is awake. It will soon be asleep. Smothered like Waffle House hash browns. Another one. Busted. Alright, deck, can I do anything, please? Okay, I think opponent would have cast Ravenous Baloth if they had it. They would have cast Blastorm if they had it. Getting smushed now. Are these decks that have just simply bigger creatures than me and also are built to play from top deck mode? My opponent has none of those. Alright, I'm dead on board. GG's. This matchup seems really tough. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables. I'm on the play in round 4. This might actually be the first time ever in history I've queued into a Bosh avatar in the wild. Opponent has Style and Grace. I'm going to keep this. And what do I blind therapy? I am going to therapy here. I think it's worth doing. Do I name, like, what do you name in the dark? Like in the complete darkness. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play Pluto Delta and pass because I can therapy next turn. And then nothing will happen in between. Okay. That's... All right, now I have information. All right, I'm glad I did it that way. All right, I'm going to Cabal Therapy naming, I think, Lightning Bolt. That's just a card I know they play 4 of. Lightning Bolt. All right, none of those. What there are is another Jackal Pup, an Incinerate, an Earthquake, and a Curse Scroll that I could take here. I think I want the Curse Scroll. That is going to deal a lot of damage to me, and I'm very bad at answering it. Okay, yeah. Next turn, I can Wasteland the Factory if they play it out, and drop Nantuko Shade. This Masticore actually is huge. I mean, it tends to be huge. So that's kind of Masticore's thing. Pyrostatic Pillar. Yuck. But I mean, that's not the worst. I'm going to take 2 from this Jackal Pup anyway. So I'll take 2 from Pillar to remove it. And do I want to Wasteland? I don't think I do, because that's mana to cast Masticore, which gets above all of the things they're showing me here. All right, well, if they're going to force the issue, I will bonk it. All right, I accept. The power move of you don't sit on Wasteland, you use it. Oh my god. All right. My opponent has Incinerate in their hand, which can clear the Nantuko Shade. Do I just run the Phyrexian Arena? I think I do. I have no fear. Come get me. I need to get Masticore online, is the thing, or I'm going to lose this game for sure. I might lose it anyway, but oh no, now Masticore is not even good, because Incinerate specifically says a creature dealt damage this way can't be regenerated, and now they have 4 damage. Oh no, I've been betrayed. Okay, I can cast Masticore here, but I can't activate it even once to clear the pup. I can use Dark Ritual to have Nantuko Shade survive Incinerate. No, this Pillar has buried me. All right, that was sick. The grindy permanent style version of red. Good stuff. All right, I want another Drain Life. I want Spinning Darkness. I probably want Powder Keg. Contagion seems pretty good. Arena seems risky, but also, like, going 1 for 1 isn't how I want to play the game. The life gain in the deck, I'm bringing in a Spinning Darkness and a Drain Life, and I have the one already. There's 3 ways to gain life. The rest is really good. Curse Scroll's good. Therapy's good if I can hit with it. Withered Wretch might be mediocre. I don't need all the arenas, but I do want some. I think Snuff Out is worth it. We can get to a point in the game where I can cast it, and most of the things I pointed out would deal at least 4 damage anyway. I might actually cut a Therapy after thinking about it. It's just a bad top deck that doesn't help me survive the board, and anything I'd cut to make room without cutting a discard spell would impact my ability to play to the board. Okay, do I want to double spell on turn 2? Or just not spend a mana of my ritual? And I am going to keep. Just going to Delta Pass. Jackal Pup, Ravenous Rats has that covered. I'm not going to fetch because I kind of want to draw a Swamp. Okay, Dark Rit, Rat. And I'm going to play Wretch because I like Shade more. And I suspect whatever creature I play is going to get zapped. Ooh, opponent's just on pause over there. I've seen Earthquake in their deck, which is really weird and annoying. I'm going to play out Shade here and just pass the turn. Yep, bolting that one makes sense. That's the good one. Mog Fanatic. Curse Scroll, game on. Play Curse Scroll. I can activate it immediately, then start the beats. Snuff Out, which instead of dealing 4 damage to me, deals 2 damage to my opponent. And I think I do want to start having a damage race here. Okay, yeah, my opponent doesn't. So we're on the same page here. They're just using their cards to take 0 right now. I'm a little worried about their 6 cards in hand. Screw Beats, Flood. If they start getting out of this, I could fall apart quickly. But if they don't... Okay, yeah, they've had enough. Alrighty then. I was eyeing up these Engineered Plagues because a lot of the creatures in their deck are X1. But I think my removal and my creatures are okay. I mean, really, it's Ravenous Rats. The other creatures just die to bolt with no good exchange. Yeah, I think this is the best plan I can come up with. Oh no, the cursed 1-lander. Where's my Dark Ritual now? Oh, there they are. 3 of them. I'll go with this. Let's go. Keep and bottom 1 of the 3 Dark Rituals. My opponent's on 5 cards. But my hand is obviously a little sketch. Mountain Pup. Okay. My plan is to go Arena Smother. I'd really like to draw a Swamp. Okay, now I can save my Smother. Okay, Dark Ritual is 3 mana. The second one is 5 mana. Phyrexian Arena, Fearless. Edict You. Okay, weird game. We're both starting with 2 or 3 cards in our hand, but I have a Phyrexian Arena, which may or may not actually be good in this matchup. Second pup, the land is important here. Son of a biscuit. Okay. Do I want to just rip off Cabal Therapy here? What would I name? Just name Lightning Bolt. Just something that can clear a blocker. Hey! One for one shot, 1 kill. So I am bleeding out into this arena. Gotta find some lands to get out of this. Or one of my other 2 Dark Rituals. Curse Scroll. Alright, well, they're a little ways away from using that. Well, one of my other Dark Rituals confirmed. Okay, Dark Ritual, get... Do I think having Withered Wretch in play or Jackal Pup not in play is more powerful here? I think it's more powerful to remove Jackal Pup straight up. Because the gamble is that if my opponent does draw a burn spell, then neither creature can attack. But they could also just trade. Like, if they do attack, I just have to block. Alright, Curse Scroll's online. Deck, for fuck's sake. Are there even lands in you? And it's not over, but it's pretty bad. My opponent's in the Curse Scroll now. Ravenous Rat's a little bit useful. Curse Scroll in response, targeting the rat. I kind of like that for me. Overload, alright. Oh, Overload's gone. Can I get stability before these last 10 life points run out? It's gonna be close. I do have a bunch of life gain. Okay, Duress You. Let's force the issue on Curse Scroll. Another Curse Scroll. That's gone. Okay. And I think I have to smother the Mog Fanatic. That's doing so much damage to me. And the Curse Scroll means that none of my creatures can be in front of it for very long. Right, activating Scroll now to put me to 3. So I'm basically dead. Fireball! I'm instantly dead! Alright. Yeah, I mean, we all saw it. I drew 16 cards without a land. I would take that gamble again. I would take that gamble every time. But it didn't work out this time. Live and die by the sword. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I am on the play in the final round, and I have the choice of Ritual Hippie or Ritual Arena. I think it is correct to play Arena, but I'm gonna play Hippie. All right, let's go. We registered this deck to do exactly this. It's the first time it's happened. Can it work? A Forest. Unlikely to kill Hypnotic Spectre. All right, we got some elves in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna hit them with Hippie and then probably Edict them. Llanowar Elves discarded. I'm just going to go for the Edict here. Like, Duress could take Survival if that's in their hand, which is a card I'd be stressed out to have in play against me. But I'm trying to collapse their engine and use my mana efficiently. Bindhorn Elves. Wirewood Symbiote. Okay. Curse Scroll. That's good against this deck. Alright, Hypnotic Spectre taking a second chunk. Can we see a good card go to the graveyard? Priest of Titania. I accept that as a good card. And I'm gonna invest the Arena here, and then Duress Scroll. Hopefully turn the corner and lock it out next turn. Well, Tawny's Acolyte enters draw card, busted. And they have Wirewood Symbiote to refire that every turn. Yeah, they could cast it twice right now, even. Survival is there. Okay. Based on how that went, it feels like it wasn't there all along, but it's certainly there now. And now life is harder. Another Ritual. Okay, do I think Duress is even worth playing? What is the actual sequence here? I have 5 mana. That's enough to cast Duress, cast Scroll, activate targeting Symbiote. That might be worth doing. I should have Duressed first if I was going to attack. They probably don't have that many non-creature spells in their deck. I just put Anger in the graveyard for them. Alright, is this Duress even worth casting? The problem is I kind of want Wirewood Symbiote dead. And casting Duress is how that happens. Okay. Curse Scroll. Duress you. Almost certainly gonna miss. Yeah, Multani's Acolyte and Yavimaya Granger. Search a library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, tapped and shuffle. Okay, so that is access to the mountain for Anger. Hypnotic Spectre. Named, kill the symbiote. Okay, opponent's hand is a little awkward right now, which it has to be because they have fucking survival online. Like, if they play Granger and get the mountain, they have to come up with a green somewhere to actually start the survival chain. And if they survival one thing, then that thing will just be in their hand. Like, even if their hand right now is Forest, that's not necessarily good. All they have to really do is draw a creature on a turn where they have mana available. And I'm in big trouble. Let's see that Acolyte go. All right, the Acolyte did go. Hypnotic Spectre in and pass the turn. I have to somehow overcome an active survival of the fittest with Anger in the graveyard. Okay, they played Well-Wisher. They're going for time here. Rotated Acolyte into Quirion Ranger. Yeah, Quirion Ranger is going to gain a lot of life. Except that I can kill this Well-Wisher with Curse Scroll, which I am going to do. All right, you've gained a bunch of life. Good job. All right, Curse Scroll, target the Well-Wisher. I'm going to name the Swamp, obviously. If my opponent tries to gain life in response, they'll have to discard their Forest in combat. There's no way that's worth 3 life. Wow. All right, well, you're the boss. All right, so they traded a Forest, a permanent mana source, for 3 life. We'll see how that works out. Well-Wisher's dead. Cabal Therapy, not helpful. Swamp, also not helpful. Attack. Discard the Forest. And I'm going to Cabal Therapy just to get it out of my hand and keep Curse Scroll relevant. I'll name Abandon Hope and pass. If they don't draw a creature, I'm in great shape. Oh, wow. Why are we playing creatures? What's going on here? They think they can win the race, is the answer. All right. It's a bold bet. Okay. Ravenous Rats and Curse Scroll targeting. And Ranger is also worth mana, is my problem right now. They attack. Still playing Elves rather than activating Survival. Happy to trade Ravenous Rats with basically anything. Cabal Pit's nice. Wasteland's not nice. Cabal Pit, kill a Findhorn, and this is actually kind of annoying. I might have messed up a little bit. I'm going to name Swamp and take an actual 50-50 on this one. Swamp? We missed. All right. Do I have to stop attacking? I really don't want to, but it might be right. And with my arena, and like if my opponent was using their survival, I'd just be going damage, but they appear interested in actual haste 1/1 beatdown, just the Raging Goblin strategy. And nothing stops a Raging Goblin like a 2/2. Tanglewire. Definitely don't mind that. All right, if I tap 4 permanents, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, that's fine. I'll just do that. These lands gumming me up. Curse Scroll, target Findhorn Elves, name Wasteland. At least I drew a redundant copy of the same land. Oh, my odds are good. And we got it. Okay, my opponent's going to have to tap all their lands on their turn. So we're just swinging now. And they're conceding. Okay. That was weird. Engineered Plague, Powder Keg, Perish, Spinning Darkness. I'm interested in all of these things. Is this a Negator matchup? I don't think so. It is really big, though. I don't think I need it. We are a Masticore matchup. Hypnotic Spectre just handled itself admirably, but I do not think it's necessarily where I want to be. I think I want all the Duresses out. The only spell in their deck is Survival of the Fittest. This is just going to be bad so often. In the times it takes Survival versus the times that it just doesn't. The Dystopias could come in here too, if I want to be full sicko mode. I kind of like the other Drain Life, but that might just be because of the weird texture that game fell into. I like my removal. I like my creatures. Discard's mediocre. Withered Wretch actually does matter because they're a survival deck. Genesis and Squee are probably in there. I don't think I have room for Dystopia, and I don't think I need it. Is Dystopia better than Keg? I guess that's a fair question. And I think the answer is no. Or, nah, it is. All right, it definitely is. All right, Dystopia over Keg. Let's go. I'll keep. It's a little slow to heat up, but I do have Rats into Plague. Opponent went to 6. Llanowar Elves. Okay, there's my land for the Plague when we get there. I just hope I'm not dead already. Wooded Foothills. Are we ready for the mountain? Probably not. Okay, yep. They have the survival and can immediately start activating it. Not ideal. Like, survival for Squee here just completely cooks my Ravenous Rats. And I guess I gotta start somewhere. I gotta do something. I could get Withered Wretch, which makes Squee look stinky. Or Ravenous Rats looks terrible. All right, I'm actually gonna go Wretch first here because it's just too easy to get Squee. Fyndhorn Elves filtered away. Quirion Ranger. All right, just running face first into this Engineered Plague. That's obviously great for me. Ranger. If they have Elvish Champion to get ahead of Plague here, that would be so sick. Tanglewire. That also gets ahead of Plague. All right, well, nobody liked that. My opponent probably did. I will start eating cards out of their graveyard because I have to tap all these things anyway. I do have a land to drop. Oh, good. All right, I thought this with the Wretch was just going to stay highlighted for the rest of the game. But Magic Online decided not to, which I appreciate. Tanglewire is such bullshit. I mean, I love this card. And playing through the card is kind of fun and challenging in its own disgusting kind of way. But just this card as printed is a lie. And everyone knows it. Cards that read one way but play a different way, and the gap between them, this has to be near the top of the list. Because it seems like both players have to tap the same number of permanents, except you get to tick down first, and the Tanglewire can tap itself. So it's really, you're always 2 behind your opponent. Like, you tap 4, then I tap 2, then you tap 3, then I tap 1. It could be that this list doesn't have a particularly fleshed out survival package. It might just be some kind of value thing where giving your elves haste is useful for other reasons other than getting Squee and going nuts. I don't know what those reasons are or what they could be, but that might be the case. All right, I'm going to give myself a chance to draw a land here and tap the 3 other things. Yeah, I got there. If I miss on the land there, it's better to have the untapped 2/2 to be relevant in combat. I actually do like Ravenous Rats now. Discarded a second Tanglewire, huge. Opponent taps their 1 permanent. Can I get this Plague down and buy myself some breathing room? Or was your hand just 2 Tanglewires when I ratted you? Masticore. That one's pretty good. Unfamiliar with its work. I gotta tap some stuff. I think it should be both creatures. I'm not in danger of dying to combat damage right now. And if I draw a land, which I did, I can do 2 things. All right, Engineered Plague. We'll start there. And then they'll probably bounce an elf in response to this with Symbiote. And then I have to decide if I'm worried about these elves or the Symbiote moving forward. I think I'm just going to name Elf. The Symbiote doesn't matter if you don't have elves in play. And they're relying pretty hard on this Quirion Ranger plus Llanowar Elf combo to have mana. Yeah, bounce the Quirion in response. Name Elf. There's a mana floating, so they're going to use that to Masticore my rat. Ooh, straight up naturalize. Yeah, that works too. All right, Withered Wretch number 2 is in. Opponent has to discard their Quirion Ranger in their upkeep to keep Masticore. Yeah, that was actually a pretty good exchange, even though it didn't go how I wanted. They got some hard choices to make. It would be so crazy if there's not a Squee in this deck, and like survival for Squee in response to Masticore's trigger, discard the Squee, start playing the game next turn. I just discarded the Ranger. What's going on? What's in the survival deck? Simply don't understand. This is one of the most broken Magic cards ever printed, banned in Legacy, and to have it in play this many times and not use it, either either you're not juicing the deck, you're not using the deck to its full capacity, or the deck is built weirdly. And by weirdly, I mean probably not very well. I don't like just making sweeping statements about my opponent's decks or how they're playing. I think that is generally in poor taste, but this card being in play this long in game one and this game, and in both games not really doing anything, it's suspicious to me. That should not be happening. Okay, I'm going to tap my Ravenous Rats. All right, ripping this many lands in a row is nice. I'm going to go Arena and Dystopia. Who needs a life total? Not me. Let's get the rest of your permanents now. Honestly, the way this game has been going, this match has been going, it wouldn't surprise me if they just sacked the Survival as the first thing to lose to Dystopia and value the creatures. Oh, you actually have to bounce Llanowar Elf in the end step, then discard it to even keep Masticore. My nickels and dimes have added up. The Ravenous Rats just bonking one random card 3 turns ago is now going to kill their Masticore or kill their Llanowar Elf. And if they do bounce the Elf, then that means Dystopia is going to get the Symbiote or the Survival. Tutoring Squee 5 turns ago would have stopped all of this. Floating a blue, or floating a green. Okay, killing my tapped Ravenous Rat. And then what? Like, I don't want them to get Squee because that's bad for me, but I'm kind of rooting for them to get it because this seems too easy. Wow, the Survival's gone. The Llanowar Elves is going to be gone in a second when they discard it to Masticore. And then I just have to beat a Masticore, which in the current board state, I could just double block and it's gone. Okay, Masticore's dead next turn. Now I don't need to block it. There's nothing to bounce. There's no way to put a card in your hand. I'll just take 4. And I will bet that my Phyrexian Arena is not going to kill me first. I hope that's true. Okay, I don't really need to pay for Dystopia here because I think they have to chump block. Or not chump. Well, paying 1 life for Dystopia means they have to block with Wired Symbiote or they lose it anyway. Okay, Ravenous Rats. I will attack here. They should block one of them. Nope. All right. Yeah, Dystopia has words on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've got a Masticore. Pass the turn, and I don't know how I can ever lose this game. Without being mean-spirited, my suspicion at this point is that my opponent is new to their deck, and like managing the cards in your hand for a Masticore, getting your survival chain going, just finding the Squee earlier. I just suspect that they have some stuff to learn, and I mean that, of course, nicely. I mean, drawing Caller of the Claw on a turn where 2 of your creatures died, like that was off the top. That wasn't a plan. Pretty cool. Okay, Dystopia would cost me 2 life, and it would eat a bear token. My Masticore is going to do that anyway. I'm not going to pay for that. I think the only way I can lose this game is to myself, and I'm going to try not to do that. I'll discard the backup Dystopia. Draw for turn. That's a lot of smothers. I'm just going to go straight to the dome here. Kill all their creatures and attack for 8. And just do that twice. I'll leave 1 Wretch back. I can't quite clear all the creatures. And I will leave up regeneration mana for Masticore. Okay, I mean, this is the exact same exchange I just offered. Like blocking with the bear versus attacking and letting me block the bear. It's the same thing. Okay, upkeep. Draw a card before I discard, so I get a choice. I'm actually going to discard Engineered Plague. My opponent's got a card in their hand, and I'd like it to be gone. Wooded Foothills. Enough mana to kill an X2 with Masticore. Okay, we did it. There it is. That was Mono Black MoneyBall. My feedback after playing the deck is, as I sort of mentioned at the top, Hypnotic Spectre is not actually a very good Magic card anymore. And Nantuko Shade carried its weight basically every time it showed up. I would play 0 Hypnotic Spectre, 4 Shades, and maybe even a second Drain Life. There are a lot of games, especially with 3 arenas going, that just having a small life buffer, like 3 to 5 points, would have really swung anything I was doing. A lot of builds do have a second Masticore in it. Like if you cut 3 Hippie for 2 Shade, you have 1 slot left over. The second Masticore is probably is probably better than the Drain Life, just for circle of protection, black kind of reasons. I would even be tempted to play 4 arenas. The games where I had arena going and could really make choices versus the ones where it was like, my first 3 turns are really good and then I just draw 2 swamps in a row and I'm behind. I'm into arena for that reason. And maybe the 1 Drain Life is enough. Maybe a Scryfall dive is necessary. If like black wasn't in lifelink wasn't in black's color pie back then, it is now. It's a lot harder to find just a black creature that passively gains life than it is in the modern card pool, but the Drain Lives, the Spinning Darknesses, that sort of stuff was going on back then. And if we do go to 4 arena, then I think you do want a second way to gain a little bit of life. Sweet Tech, though, always a delight. I have a playset of 4 and black border Hypnotic Specters that I just picked up. They were in some bargain bin probably 10 years ago just because the card itself carries such weight, and it's like, man, I could get 4 of these that kind of look like they're from beta for like $6. Done. And I still have them now. I've never put them in a deck in any format, and I understand the appeal of it, but I think the time has passed and it's Nantuko Shade's time to shine. I'm going to leave this one here. Brad, thanks for sharing it with us. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel. I'll see you next time.